We've been talking a lot about lean and agile, and very often people like inspirational figure, just like Hack and Force. They came from agile and went to lean. And the journey of Nigel is slightly different because he comes from a very strong lean background, and he went to agile to deploy agile in Toyota. So please welcome Nigel Thurlow from Toyota.
Good morning. Is this working? Yeah, we're all on. I'm just going to say to the guys up the top to keep my sound up. We've got a lot of videos to play this morning. If you want to reduce customer support, reduce your defects. Just to I'd add that in from the last one. Okay, this is a little bit about me. I'm Nigel Thurlow. I'm a British guy. I now live in the USA. I'm married an American. I got myself an American passport, so I'm a US citizen. I did marry for love. I'm based in Dallas-Fort Worth. Our offices at Toyota Connected are there, and of course we're now over in Lisbon. I was here 2 weeks ago talking to Agile people about lean, and now I'm back here talking to lean people about Agile. This is interesting. So we'll see how this goes. I spent a lot of time, my early career was at TME, Toyota Motor Europe. I owe the people who taught me everything there. That changed and transformed my career. I was very lucky to spend some time there. I then went off and spent some time with this gentleman to my right on this picture at the bottom left. That's Jeff Sutherland, the creator of SCRUM. I was able to work with him for some years and learned a lot from Jeff. And Ken Schwaber, the other gentleman there, together they're the creators and writers of the SCRUM Guide. So I learned a lot about SCRUM. I then went back into Toyota North America, the thing in the middle at the bottom, and I was able to start helping Toyota North America on their journey towards agility, and I talk about that this morning. And then, of course, I'm now at Toyota Connected, where the car is at the top right. For everybody else in the room, I'm a big Doctor Who fan as well. I just thought I'd leave that one in there. This is part of my team, not all my team. This is a number of my team. These are the generation of Agile leaders at Toyota Connected, and some of them are working down in Toyota Motor North America, our new US headquarters in Plano, Texas. So let's talk about why Toyota Connected and what it's all about. Toyota's production system is the gold standard. It is the gold standard for assembling and manufacturing, but it's not enough anymore. This is still where we want to be when we're building products, but it's not enough from a point of view of where the company is going. This is Toyoda-san, the president of the company, the great-grandson of the founder. It's my goal to transition Toyota from an automotive company to a mobility company. He announced this earlier in Las Vegas. So Toyota Connected is much more focused on mobility now as an organization. We are very much connected to the past. Our logo reaches back into the past for our history. We are very much in touch with our history. And of course, our history is innovation. This is the Type G weaving loom that Toyoda-san's great-grandfather created that really started off the quality revolution. And we recognize that this is in our office. We have a facsimile of the loom there, which sort of reaches back into our past to remind us of our TPS or our Toyota roots. But we are very different. Very, very different. This is some of the team members over in Toyota Connected, one of the best places to work in Dallas. And we do have beer in the fridge. It's not illegal, apparently. This is our director of HR, our chief people officer, serving Malibu cocktails every Thursday when we have our office party. We do this every week. This is Toyota, guys. Because we recognize we must change. We have to change. We need to become more like IT companies before IT companies become more like us. We're not the only people building cars anymore. The automotive industry is not the only industry building cars. This is Tomiyama-san on the left-hand side and Toyota-san with him. Tomiyama-san is the chairman of Toyota Connected. He's my boss's boss. Let's look at what they said just recently in Bloomberg in the last few weeks. Toyota-san himself has singled out tech companies as our new rivals with speed many times greater than our own A life or death battle has begun in a world of unknowns. They're powerful words from the president of the company. Tomiyama-san, he says, we aren't giving up on our main business, but we can't vaguely just make cars. For everyone to share this sense of crisis is still a challenge. They're powerful words from Toyota. So let's look at what we do. We do a lot on telematics. Cars nowadays are becoming more like web browsers on wheels. We have deep embedded electronics in cars, many, many sensors. We can take a lot of this data and use this data. And Toyota-san saw this many years ago when he saw that data was going to be the new business. And for a lot of people, data is now the way forward. This is the sort of numbers that we're getting out of our vehicles every day. 500 plus data points every 200 milliseconds being captured in real time. That's your car talking to the cloud, talking to systems that allow us to offer services and products to the customer. That's over 7 million data points per connected vehicle per day. I forget now, in one of the videos that one of my colleagues said, we in the next 5 years will have more data than Facebook, to give you some idea of the scale of this. And we also do, I'm looking at you now, we also do artificial intelligence and machine learning, but we do it a little different. I hope my sound is turned up there. Not quite Skynet.
Starting this year, Toyota and Lexus luxury models will come with Amazon Alexa.
Alexa, turn on the AC.
Turning on AC.
Finally, a virtual assistant to help you navigate.
Alexa, where's the nearest gas station?
Nearest gas station in 1.5 miles.
And to help maintain your vehicle.
Alexa, order more brake pads.
Ordering new brake pads. Although maybe if you didn't stop so close to the car in front of you.
I left plenty of room.
You drive too aggressively.
If you were just quiet for 2 seconds, 2 seconds.
She'll talk to you literally the entire time you're driving.
I think you should have turned back there.
I know where I'm going!
Hi, you know why I pulled you over?
No, officer, I have...
Because we were driving 72 miles per hour in a 45 mile per hour zone.
Anything else I should know?
2 miles back, we rolled through a stop sign without coming to a complete stop. Also, there are illegal fireworks in the trunk.
Sir, I'm gonna need you to step out of the car, please.
Amazon Alexa. You'll never get away from it.
We didn't make that video. Ellen DeGeneres made that video. I really, really wish we'd made that video. But Alexa's now live in some Toyota and Lexus vehicles, and you get remote stop for free if you enable Alexa in your Toyota vehicles, remote start, stop. One of those products we recently launched in Hawaii is ride sharing.
Through the new free mobile app, cars can be booked anytime from any place. Simply open the app and select your preferred date and time of reservation, which can be booked for as little as an hour and up to 2 weeks. Select the most convenient station location from the interactive map to view prices and available cars. Choose the one that best suits you and click Reserve. The total cost of your reservation includes gas, insurance, and taxes. Once your reservation is active, you're ready to roll. You can now pair your phone with your reserved Hui car, and your phone becomes a digital key, allowing you to lock and unlock the doors, and use the push to start button to begin your adventure. Make as many stops as you prefer along the way, and at the end of your reservation, simply return the car to its original station. Lock the doors and end your reservation through the Hui app. You will receive a notification that your bill is finalized. So whether it's a morning surf session, a Costco run, or an extended stay on the island, Hui provides a fleet of vehicles at your fingertips, equipped to meet your needs. For more information about Hui, visit drivehui.com.
So the way we use vehicles is going to change over the next few years, certainly over the next decade. Not just the technology in vehicles, moving from gasoline technology to electrification, but also the way we actually utilize our vehicles. Currently, your vehicles spend about 90% of their life not actually doing anything, parked in a garage or a parking space, and you're still paying for that. Ride-sharing is becoming a reality. I did some research on our own data. We've invested nearly $2 billion just this year in ride-sharing companies, $500 million investment in Uber and a $1 billion investment in Grab in Indonesia. Because we're looking at ways where, how do we sustain our business when the customers are changing the way they use transportation, because you may not be buying your own car in the future. These are some of the ways we're changing, and we need to become very agile to enable us to respond to this. So what does agility actually mean? Now, I remember I've worked with some of the people who created this word agile in the software industry. I'm going to talk about it, how it applies to Toyota, and what I think it actually means. So we want to be able to deliver faster, and we want to be able to deliver higher quality at a lower cost. We want to be able to reduce complexity because we are in a complex world now, and I'll mention that again in a moment. We need to make faster and better decisions, and most importantly, we need to stay ahead of the competition. Let's talk about customer first. We just heard a lot about customer first in customer support. This is Kamiya-san, the first president of Toyota Motor Sales in Japan, and in 1946, it was he that coined the customer first promise, something that we remember every year. We are in February, where we have a customer first appreciation week, where we remember our customer first promise. This comes straight out of a document from Toyota. There's the principle of considering the need and desires of the customer when determining direction and strategy. And that's actually condensed into 3 points: the highest quality at the lowest cost in the shortest lead time. That's actually what customer first means if you're using the Toyota definition of that phrase. So let's look at this. And there was some news this week, alas, recalls. We don't even get everything right all the time, and we have some recalls on some of our earliest Prius models for a software update. Now, the technology wasn't available back when these vehicles were built between 2010 and 2014, but I wanted to give a comparison with another rather famous electric vehicle that is sort of all the rage at the moment from Tesla. Well, some people are going to talk about Tesla later. We've got to recall about 2.5 million cars to do a simple software update for a very minor potential fault that might be there. This was covered in the local media in the last week or so and on Toyota's website. I estimated the cost, 1 hour's labor rate in the USA, about $130. There's going to be a cost of about $300 million to Toyota to upgrade that software. One of our competitors added brand new features and a complete brand new operating system to their car in the last 2 weeks, totally free of charge to the customer, free of charge to the company, sending that over-the-air update to the vehicle. So this is where we're moving into a space now where people expect instantaneous features to be added, instantaneous upgrades, all this over the air from the cloud, not having to take your car into a dealership to have that work carried out. So we need to respond, we need to be a little bit different in the way we're working. But Agile's for software, right? That's where it came from. People talk about agility. So one of the key values from the Agile Manifesto is responding to change over following a plan. And agility is about enabling business agility, enabling your organization to respond to change rapidly. How does a company with 400,000 employees, Toyota, respond to these smaller companies now able to respond to their customers more rapidly than we can? We need to be able to deliver a model of a new vehicle in less than the typical 4 years, when our competitors are delivering a new model in a year. This is what agility means. This is a company I did some work with a friend of mine, John Kramer, is the chairman of Cambridge Engineering in the US. They build heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, no software in sight. This is a quote he gave me when I was talking to him. These are some photographs inside the engineering company where they're using Scrum The Toyota Way. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. And they've implemented agility in manufacturing, industrial heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, and has revolutionized the way they work. They deliver their products faster, cheaper, with higher quality. This is the Dallas Police Department. Major Max Garon, a friend of mine now. I did some work with the Dallas Police Department to some of the philanthropic work we do at Toyota Connected. This is the Dallas Police Department using Agile, in this case a technique from Scrum, in the Narcotics Division to actually help them run the Narcotics Division. Nothing to do with software at all. So, Agile is about working differently. This is a multi-vendor team. You'll see the names of the vendors on the screen. Typically in Toyota, we'd have people build hardware in isolation and we would build some software in isolation. And then sometime in the future, we bring those two pieces together. Typically, we'd be sent the hardware from the manufacturers, from a vendor, and we would plug it in and see if it would work. And invariably, it wouldn't work, and we would spend many, many months testing and retesting that equipment. So what we decided to do, a colleague of mine decided to do, was to talk to the people in Japan and said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we could get a senior engineer from each of these different tier 1 vendors and bring them to Dallas and create a cross-functional multi-vendor team that was able to solve problems in real time, rather than having to discover a problem, send a help desk ticket to Japan, wait 2 weeks for a response, and then rinse and repeat that process. This has accelerated our integration testing of our data control modules, the brains inside some of our cars. This is an example of agility. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the term SMED, single minutes exchange of die. If you're in manufacturing or some lean pursuit, you'll probably be familiar with being able to rapidly change tooling on machinery. But how rapidly can you retool your business? The cartoon says, what if we don't change at all and something magical just happens, rainbows and unicorns? So we want the right product at the right time for the right customer, if you want to stay ahead of the competition and you want to stay competitive. So lean is all about product flow efficiency. There's a lot of experts in this room, some of them with far greater knowledge than I have. So what a lot of people do when they do some sort of transformation, they start messing around in organizational transformation on the y-axis there. What we really want to be doing in a lean transformation is accelerating the flow of value to the customer. And as Ono-san said, all we're doing is looking at the timeline from the moment the customer gives us the order to the point when we collect the cash. And are we reducing the waste to increase our flow? This is what lean is. It's about flow. But what we need to do is we need to introduce agility. So we can talk about TPS, or lean. Lean's the Western word for TPS, as building the product right, the right product with the right quality, of building the product right. Where agility is building the right product. So you can then add in something we call, or we use, which is Scrum, which adds empirical planning with a feedback loop. I'm going to dig into this a little bit more in detail for you. So you can be lean without being agile. You can be building the best quality products with the minimum of waste and the lowest costs, but it could still be the wrong product. You can be building the right product and be very agile, changing and iterating to customer demand extremely rapidly, but without being lean, being very expensive, very wasteful, and low quality. So I'd posit that you want to be both lean and agile. They are different things, but very complementary. Scrum gives us a process to help plan. And for people who know what Scrum is a planning cadence, not a delivery cadence. So Scrum is a planning tool, not a delivery tool. Took me a while to get that. So agility is a KAIKAKU for Toyota. Japanese word meaning revolutionary change. Most of you, most of you are familiar with Kaizen. Few of you will be familiar with KAIKAKU. It's a word I learned in Toyota and I've been using a lot in my presentations. So Kaizen is evolutionary, continuous improvement, always better, never best. But KAIKAKU is a big shot in the arm, a major revolutionary change. And this is what agility is for Toyota. When we talk about agile leadership, we're hearing again about leadership this morning. This is my boss. He's the Chief Operating Officer of Toyota Connected. He reports to Tomiyama-san, who's Toyota-san's right-hand man. He's a very, very senior official of the company. Very nice guy, very, very supportive leader. Talk a little bit about what agile leadership and customer first looks like. Every day, this is our main meeting room in Toyota Connected, where we have our most important customers or any visitors come in our Toyota Connected offices in Plano. Every day he cleans that room. He cleans that room. Even better than that, at 3:30 in the afternoon every day, he cleans the bathrooms. When was the last time your Chief Operating Officer cleaned your public toilets? That's agile leadership. That's customer first. That's what customer first really means. So let's talk about how we implement agility in Toyota Connected, and indeed across Toyota, as this is now spreading across the world of Toyota. Let's talk about the connection between Lean or TPS and this thing called Scrum and Agile. So in the 50s, we all know Taiichi Ono-san developed the Toyota production system with many people, and he eventually wrote it up in the essential reading. Everybody should own a copy of this book, the Toyota Production System book from Ono-san. Then in the 90s, some different people were inspired. The creators of Scrum, Ken Schwaber and Jeff Sutherland, and then some of the creators of something in the software programs all know extreme programming, some techniques for developing software really rapidly. They were inspired by a lot of stuff that had come out of Toyota. If you talk to any of these people, they all teach Toyota principles. They all cite Toyota in their approaches. And it was these people that got together in 2001 and wrote something called the Agile Manifesto, which is just basically a set of values and principles that define how we think agility should be applied in our industry, initially for software development, now much more for lean product development. These were the two Japanese professors who actually gave Scrum its name. Jeff Sutherland borrowed the name from this Harvard Business Review paper in 1986 called The New Product Development Game. And Professor Takeichi from Harvard and Professor Nanaka, also from Harvard, but also a theorist in Tokyo, wrote this paper. And this is where the name Scrum came from. So I was trying to join the dots that Scrum is a Japanese thing. Ken and Jeff published the first Scrum Guide in '95 in Austin, Texas, and Ken recently spoke to me. The quote from Ken there is at the bottom, and he cited two influences, the Toyota production system and the empirical process, or the empirical planning process from the chemical giant DuPont. These are the two influences for Scrum. So when people start to think about Scrum as a software-only thing, if you think about it just as a planning tool that was inspired by Toyota out of the lean world, it becomes much less of a religious battle and more of how do I use these tools and techniques to enable agility. This is basically what Scrum is. It's a simple empirical approach with a rapid customer feedback loop. It just enables small teams to do rapid delivery of incremental delivery in rapid cycles that we call sprints. Anything from 1 to 4 weeks if you follow the Scrum Guide. We're working in 1-week sprints predominantly. And the most important thing, it enables us to respond and change what we're doing based upon customer demand. That's the agility in business. This is how Scrum works. Very, very simple for those that are unfamiliar. You've got a planning session, which starts at the beginning of the cycle, a cycle we call a sprint. We have some time where we spend time working on backlog development. The backlog is our requirements, new way we make our requirements visible. We then work in a very short iteration we call a sprint. At the end of every single day, we do a daily Scrum, like the daily stand-up, but really a planning session to look at a small 15-minute meeting where we look at replanning our daily work. Then we review the work at the end of the sprint. And the most important thing is the sprint review, look, with customers, and we update the requirements based on customer feedback. And then we build in Hansai in our sprint retrospective where we introduce Kaizen. So every single week we're building Kaizen into our process and our product development. So most teams doing 1-week sprints can do minimum of 52 Kaizens a year. When was the last time you did 52 Kaizens per person per year? If you look at it as a PDCA cycle, that's all Scrum is. If we start taking the religion out of this and start looking at this objectively, all Scrum is a PDCA cycle. And what it's done is it's codified PDCA. One of the biggest problems in Toyota with PDCA is it sort of looks like this. Plan, do, check, act. So there was no real codification of how long should planning last in a PDCA cycle? A year, 2 years, sometimes in Toyota 2 years. How long does doing last? Well, if we reduce it and say we're going to measure ourselves and deliver something measurable and useful to our customers in these short cycles, Scrum says 1 to 4 weeks. And then we have a codification for how long we spend checking and acting. We rinse and repeat this. It purely is a PDCA cycle. There's something else I want to introduce. We don't have time to talk about this in great detail, but I recommend all of you study what's known as the Cynefin. That weird word there is a Welsh word, means domain. Study the Cynefin framework from Professor David Snowden. We are now spending a lot of time studying complexity, complex adaptive systems. We're working in a very complex world, and traditional project management techniques like the waterfall approach, PMI Prince 2, don't work in a complex environment because we don't know what we know until we know it. Research and development, artificial intelligence, machine learning, help desk support. You don't know what's going to happen until it comes in. Try and make a Gantt chart for a week in help desk support. It isn't going to work. So we're studying complexity theory. This is something that we're heavily invested in. We're also studying team science because just doing Scrum or PDCA doesn't make you a great team. Teams tend to form when there's task interdependency, when two or more people are interdependent on each other. That sort of creates the need for a team. And a nice definition is two or more people working independently, adaptively, and dynamically towards a shared and valued goal. This is teaming. You can't just stick people in a room and go, you're a team. Be a team. It's great. There's a bunch of things associated with teams, affect behaviors, cognitions. We need to separate task work and teamwork because most people put people in a room and say you're a team and give you a bunch of tasks. That's just executing tasks. That's not actually learning to be a team like a great sports team. So teams need to be coached. They need to learn to be teams. And so we're doing a lot of research on this, and we're actually studying this with the University of North Texas. So Toyota Connected have partnered with the University of North Texas to look at multi-team systems to improve agility at large scale. I don't have the slides in there, but one of the things we have discovered is there is no such thing as a scaling framework. Scrum is a framework because it will work in any context. But once you get context specific, and typically at large scale you become context specific, frameworks don't apply. There are no frameworks that we've tried yet. There are lots of tools and techniques and methods and many different purveyors of frameworks. But what we're finding is we're having to discover specific patterns in specific contexts to allow us to adapt. And this is the art of Kaizen. To give you some more stats, this is a group of teams in Toyota North America, Toyota Motor North America, supporting our North American manufacturing companies. I didn't know they were doing this. They gave me this dashboard out of a thing called Power BI a few weeks back. They've been tracking all these small projects they've been doing for the North American manufacturing companies. And before they started using this agility, this agile approach and Scrum, an average time to deliver was 186 days. They're down to 69 days on average now. Look at the acceleration there. They're saving over 100 and odd days per small project they're doing for the North American manufacturing companies. Another case study, when we first started doing this in Toyota North America, we went with this team. This was a team that were booting up. This was the first day I trained them, and we put them through a workshop to get them using these techniques. They work on our logistics management system. It's a set of software and tools that support our plant manufacturing, incredibly important. 2015, they did an upgrade of that system that took 7 weeks. They did the same upgrade in 2017 using the approaches we taught them. It was done in 6 days with minimal defects, which were fixed between shifts. That's quite an increase in speed. If you want to go faster, you don't need to hire more people. If you've got more work, you don't need to hire more people. You just need to change the way you do the work with the same people. This is shared services. A lot of people know about horizontal teams or shared services. This is where you've got IT support or network and configuration, telecommunications, people who build your servers and maintain all those back-end systems for those vertical divisions doing application delivery or business service delivery. And you really don't care about them. They're just really slow. We did some work with some of our server teams. They were taking 11 weeks to build a simple web server. We reorganized the teams into multi-skilled teams who worked together in an obeyer, in a big room. All the skills to do the work, we got it down to 2 days. That's how you accelerate these things. You just need to change the way you do the work. Another example, they took a 60-week system, and they got that down to 2 weeks. And that's massive acceleration. Is my colleague Debbie West in TM&A. She's heading up the Agile journey now in TM&A, Toyota Motor North America, when I move it over to Toyota Connected. We got over 200 teams currently doing 1-week sprints in our North American headquarters. This isn't just IS, this is now teams outside of IT and IS. We're now training people in our business teams, our accounting teams, our services teams. In a couple of weeks, I'm spending a couple of days with 60 people from Toyota Financial Services. So we're teaching our financial services people how to use these techniques. So this is cross-industry, this isn't just IS anymore. Continuous improvement, we use quality circles, a good old Toyota thing. So we use quality circles for the people in our teams that are using these approaches. So even though we've got weekly Kaizens built into our retrospectives, our hand size sessions, we're using quality circles to continue to do problem solving and improving the way we do things. What my team found is that when you get too many people in the quality circle, it doesn't function as well. The best sized teams are around 5 and 6. So they created something called passion groups, which are small 3-person quality circles. And they work with the main quality circle. They take things from the backlog of the quality circle as a passion group to do some improvements, and then they roll that back out to the quality circle. Something else we're doing is behavioral markers for self-guided correction. People who know Toyota are familiar with circle, triangle, and cross. I used to think it was just a Toyota thing until I went to Japan and realized it's a Japanese thing. So this is some of the dashboards we're now doing. This is where the teams themselves, not managers or supervisors ticking boxes, but actually the teams themselves are assessing themselves on a sprint-by-sprint basis, where they're looking at how are we doing on the things that affect the product delivery. And there's some things like vision and strategy, etc. there, and you can see we need some improvement on this version I took out. And then how are the team doing with the techniques and approaches we use for the teams to do this new approach? And finally, what about our technical excellence? Are we applying all things? You heard some things yesterday, those that were here, about DevOps. So how do we actually deliver our systems in a much more automated and rapid way to our customers? And we can roll that up to the team, the meta level, if you like, the high level. This is several teams in one of our major departments. The one at the bottom is a brand new team. Don't judge them too badly. But this is just a way we're using this, where the teams themselves do self-assessment and self-guided correction every sprint. There's no need for command and control management there. This has become so popular that I've actually created an organization called the Toyota AJAIRU GIJUTSU, which is a fancy Japanese way of saying the agile craft of Toyota. And what we're now doing, these are the first 2 classes that I ran, public classes, where we've had people going and actually learning how to use Scrum The Toyota Way. They get deep immersion into Toyota approaches, Toyota techniques, TPS techniques, with the Scrum framework woven in. And we show them how we're handling this at large scale, teach them a lot of techniques. And these have been so oversubscribed that my calendar is getting booked out till next year. But this is a way we're giving back and sharing back to the community. We've done some work, as I showed you, with Dallas Police and also the US Navy. So we've been doing some sharing and caring with those groups. We've learned a lot as well from them as we spend time with them. Okay, let me play you another video. I'm in this video, that's why I'm playing you this video.
The thing that really drew me to Toyota Connected was the ability to bring cutting-edge design and technology to a large market. We have a really unique design opportunity to interact with all kinds of people in all kinds of emotional states and have real impact on things that actually matter to them in their lives.
So we at Toyota Connected, we really want to free ourselves from the tyranny of technology through removing the complexity for the end users, for the customers, for the people who drive our vehicles and own our vehicles. We want to remove the technological complexity to enjoying that experience. And over the next few years, the technological capabilities of our vehicles and our mobility solutions are going to increase significantly.
So Toyota Connected's mission is really to provide the software tools built on top of data for making our customers' lives better. Toyota as a car maker, Toyota makes great cars. What we think here at Toyota Connected is that we should make great software that goes with their cars.
We do take a lot of pride in what we do because everybody is super enthusiastic and everybody tries to bring their best to the table. We're always brainstorming about great ideas and how it can change customers' lives.
We want to bring that connected experience that people are having into the vehicle. So we're bringing that information in and allowing our users to access it in a very natural way, improving the experience, improving the safety. At the end of the day, when you're coming in to work every day and the mission is to improve a customer's life and save lives through the improvement of our in-vehicle technology, that's a mission that we can all stand behind.
It's really one of the coolest things to be able to build the software related to the hardware that I'm driving around every day. Building the connected car platform for Toyota has really been able to connect that passion with the ability to have real impact in the world.
You know, when I was growing up, my stepdad was a civil engineer. He could always point to a bridge and said, you know, I had the ability and influence to help build something that really meant something to somebody. When I think about my work here at Toyota Connected and I think about my children that are riding in my Toyota, I'm able to point to them and say, you know, we are really driving some significant impact with the rest of the culture and the rest of the world. What we're doing is at the forefront, it's the bleeding edge of where we're going in the world today and how the future of automotive will be considered. We're laying that foundation.
Pretty cool place to be. I'm very lucky to be there. I'm very proud to be there. We recognize that, you know, I was listening to the talk yesterday morning about maybe everybody's watched Toyota and followed Toyota for years and learned lean manufacturing from Toyota and wants to emulate Toyota. And maybe now there's other things we need to learn which aren't from Toyota. Well, I'm glad to be able to tell you that we're also learning those same things. And I hope that as we brought you lean in the 50s and everybody's followed lean, we're bringing you a way to observe agility and to use the new agile techniques. And I hope you continue to follow Toyota and watch Toyota for the next few years. And just in case there's any skeptics or cynics in the room, Sakichi Toyoda, I'll give him the final words. Before you say you can't do something, try it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nigel.